Bonjour. This is David McDonald reporting for KOJB of the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe and Northern Community Radio KAXE and KBXE. On Sunday, November 2nd, 2014, I covered the protest rally organized by the National Coalition Against Racism in Sports and Media, held on the University of Minnesota campus during the football game between the Minnesota Vikings and the NFL team from Washington. I recorded the following audio as the event started outside of Northrop Auditorium, followed by the march to the stadium, and then the rally. It is an honor to share this with you. Miigwech.
Erased from the face of the earth, scalped, taking their scalps and sell them for bounty. When the blood ran down those children's face, their grandmas and mothers and families, whole tribes were totally decimated. That's where the word redskin comes from. That's the word from the scalping policy. And Dan Snyder should be ashamed of himself. And we're going to make sure that he's ashamed of himself today.
Miigwech, Clyde. Want to welcome everybody. We expect it to be a historical day for us where finally Dan Snyder understands the R word has to go. Aho!
This time we're going to ask everybody to please stand. There's been sage going around the crowd. If you got some tobacco with you, just take it out of your pocket, your purse, and hold it in your hand, your left hand, which is closest to your heart. We offer this prayer today for all the people that are here, for the women and children that are leading this march. Obaju Mashomish get you mine too, to counsel our grandfather, Great Spirit. We offer our tobacco, our offerings today.
I'm Charles Bug. I'm from Red Lake, Minnesota. We started off at Roy Wilkins, and then we're on our way down to TCF Stadium to go set up and take on a protest about the naming of the Redskins name, and just let everybody know that out there in Indian country and everybody else that we no longer like this, the namings of the games, the teams, college, baseball, football. Up there in Red Lake, we are our own sovereign nation, but we still have our opinion and all this stuff too. And it's just the time has come for us to take a stand of racism against sports and just in general.
What do you think about the crowd turnout here?
Oh, it's a really nice crowd, and a lot of people come to support this cause, and we're expecting more along the lines too. So. Yeah, we got a lot of supporters.
If they're going to change the name, what name do you think they should change it to?
I don't know. Whatever they want it to be. It's just as long as we get those names out of the teams and stuff like that. Yeah, so.
Miigwech.
Yep.
Oh, I'm Joey Browner, former NFL player with the Minnesota Vikings, and today we are walking, rallying to eliminate the racist mascots and wording that is a part of this game here in Minnesota between the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington football team.
What message do you have for the people of northern Minnesota? A lot of them would have liked to have come to the rally today but can't.
To stand up right now and be proud to be indigenous or Indian in America, because right now we're making history with bringing about the awareness of the racist slurs and imagery that is a part of the National Football League and a part of sports in general. So just the bottom line is bullying, and we're eliminating that now. Go online, tweet, whatever you're going to do, tweet to the President of the United States. Make sure that everybody who's aware out there, who is Indian or indigenous, just right now, just tweet one another, blow up the tweet lines, make sure that they're aware of what's going on here and voice their opinions on the line.
What would you rename the Washington team?
I mean, anything but what they're saying the name is now. Anything.
My name is Armando Truel. I'm a reporter with WAMU. It's the NPR station in Washington. And, we've heard in Washington a lot of activists speaking out against Washington's NFL team, but our station wanted us to get voices from real people, the people that are right behind me, thousands of them, and that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days. I've even visited communities as far away as War Road, where I spoke to people who have a native mascot and a native logo, but they have one that they say is based on their historic tradition, and they use that logo with pride. They compare that to what our team in Washington has.
You've covered this issue from our nation's capital.
Sure.
What do you think about the turnout here today?
Well, so far it's amazing, but you still have a few hours to go, so it could even be bigger. I think at the end of the day, it really speaks volumes to how deep people feel about this, and I certainly have learned a lot about the historic traditions and the use of the word Redskins and why it's so offensive, and I'll hopefully come back with some real emotional testimony as to why this is such a hurtful name for natives.
I'm Leroy Stables Fairbanks. I'm a District 3 representative from Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe. I'm here at the rally with my family here to experience this wonderful day. The sun's shining, weather's beautiful. Wind's not blowing too hard, but there's a lot of people here from many different nations. There's so much support here. It's really, I really feel proud to be here today to represent Leech Lake. I haven't seen, we haven't got to the actual stadium yet, but I imagine it's going to be a lot bigger there than it is when we're on our march over here. I think the momentum it's steady building. There's so many different things that are happening as far as the Trademark Commission, different people holding different offices who are speaking out against the name, passing resolutions in support of changing the name. And today, I think is, sending a very clear message of the support that we have to change this name.
If you had a message for the folks up at Leech Lake who couldn't make it down here to the rally, what would you ask them to do? What can they do?
Well, I guess what every nation can do and what Leech Lake can do is that, this Washington football team set up an organization to try to get some buy-in from Indian communities, having Indian communities accepting gifts and different things in many different ways. And so us at Leech Lake, we don't want that. We don't want their jackets. We don't want their help. We want them to change the name.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much.
All right.
My name is Leroy Fairbanks IV. I'm from Cass Lake, and I just think this is really cool. It's cold weather, kind of, and we're walking in Minneapolis to the Vikings game.
And what do you think of this crowd?
Pretty big.
What do you have to say to your classmates and everybody, all your friends back at Leech Lake about this march?
You guys should have been down here. It's really cool.
Everett Goodwin III. I'm carrying the American flag. We're showing our support for our brothers and sisters.
So what do you think of this, the turnout of the crowd?
That's beautiful. The drums are beautiful. The people are beautiful. It's taken a long time to get this far, so one day I hope there is a change.
Change the name! Change the name! Change the name!
Greg Banks, Leech Lake Anishinaabe. We have a really big turnout here today. Lots of support, obviously from non-Indian support as well. student support seems to be really great, and I'm just glad to be part of this today. I haven't been to any of the previous protests, but the turnout here is just incredible with the support from the Minneapolis Police Department escorting, blocking off some of the streets for the march.
Tell us about your opinion about the whole Washington NFL team's name.
Well, the term Redskins is derogatory and racist. With other minority groups, there's plenty of other derogatory racist terms that are being used, but never in the NFL. I could go on and on, but there is no reference to the N-word for any sort of a NFL team, for example. That would just be way over the top, but yet the American Indians continue to be exploited.
If you had the magic wand and could change their name, what would you change it to?
Well, the Washington Senators has already been used, but maybe the Washington Lobbyists, for example.
Change the name! Change the name! Change the name! Change the name!
Buju, Nimi Nangikwe Nadijna Kaz Magazine Indo Dame, Gawa Bubby Gunny Kagan Dojiban. Hello, my name's Corrine Roy. I'm from the White Earth Reservation, although I reside in Duluth. I'm 22. I'm in here marching into the TCF Stadium with a ton of other people standing in solidarity against the name Redskins. It's a racial slur, it should not be used, and it's really harming the Native community. There's more people than I expected. I'm a little overcrowded, but it's a good thing. It's a good feeling.
Do you think there's actual momentum now for actual change?
I'm hoping there is. I've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook and the internet saying how, everyone's expecting this to be really big, and hopefully people will actually notice and realize how wrong it is that they still use this name. It's 2014. What decade are we in?
So, what would you tell your friends and the young people of northern Minnesota? What can they do about this issue?
They can let people know how they feel about this issue. Let them know you think it's wrong and you think it should change.
How can they do that?
Through Facebook. I know a lot of young people use Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter. But there's social media is a really good tool, and it should be used more.
So we're almost at the stadium itself. How would you describe the mood of the marchers?
I don't want people thinking this is just an angry mob. That's not what it is. But we are, we're tired of it. We're all here trying to change things. It's a good mood. I think everyone's happy to be here. Not for why we're here, but, we're happy that everyone's standing up and saying no, this needs to end.
Miigwech.
Miigwech, thank you.
Racist names have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Racist names have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Racist names have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho.
John, Vilasi, John Vilasi. I'm just looking at all the protesters right now here on a rally against the Redskins name.
Can you tell me what you and your son are wearing?
Well, we're all dressed up in Redskins gear because it's our favorite team and we're here to support them.
So what do you think about this rally and what they are talking about?
Well, the Redskins name to us is just the name of a football team. It's not anything more than that, and these people seem to look at it in a different way than we do. We just see it as a game.
But if it is so serious for these people, do you think you should change your mind and make it a serious thing?
They did poll the Indians, from my understanding, the American Indians, and the overwhelming majority do not support a name change. So who are we to judge that for them?
But would it be such a big deal, since it's just a game or a sport, for them to take this into consideration and change it? Because it's obviously not making these people very happy.
Well, the name's been in place for 80 years, and there's a lot of rich tradition and history in Washington associated with the team. So why now?
Do you think it ever will change?
Well, Dan Snyder, the owner, says under his watch it never will. So we can only hope
that it won't change?
We look at it as the name of a football team, and that's it. It ends there. It's about winning a football game. You have the Atlanta Braves, you have the Cincinnati Reds, you have a lot of other teams out there that could be looked upon as derogatory.
If it's just a football team and you keep rooting for them, what team would you call them if they had to change the name?
Oh, I've heard people say Warriors or something else, but this rich tradition and history in the Redskins name, and I hope that we can keep it and use this as a funneling of energy to bring attention to the causes, but I think it would be better served to meet other needs in this country rather than the name of a football team.
Okay. And one last question for the young man. What's your name and how old are you?
Joseph, and I'm 9 years old.
All right. So what do you think about what you're seeing?
I don't like it. I agree with my dad. We're just looking for a win. We think of it as different as them.
But do you think these people are a little bit angry with the name?
Yes, I do, but we don't think it as they do.
So sometimes people got to change the way they're thinking. Do you think that's a possibility?
They look pretty angry, but if we try, maybe they'll change their mind.
What do you mean by try? By just keep continuing being a good NFL fan?
Yeah.
So do you think there's ever a chance in the future that this might change? Because some teams have changed in the past.
Maybe. Maybe.
McLaughlin from the Hennepin County Board.
And what brought you to this rally?
Well, this week the Hennepin County Board passed a resolution 6-1 urging that the name be changed. This is the place of sports in our culture is so big and so influential that this name, which is racist and offensive, has no place in our culture, and it's time for it to change.
You're down here in the cities. You got a lot of things going on. What message do you have for the people of northern Minnesota about some of the action that you've done down here for them to do up there?
Well, I think, some people say, well, we can't really change this name. Well, the fact of the matter is, when change happens, it comes from the grassroots up. And this is the moment to demand change, to say that we're going to, as the grassroots, as the people of this state and this country, we need to say enough is enough. This leftover name, this racism, has got to go. It's too influential on our children, and it's offensive each and every day. So we got to just raise our voices, and change can happen. Change can happen.
And what would you say to the city councils up there, up to the little cities, little towns, villages all over northern Minnesota? What would you say to them?
It's important to create this massive outpouring of a demand for change all over the country, so every resolution, every statement matters. It's going to accumulate over time, and the change will happen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Taylor. I'm from Red Lake, Minnesota, and I am 12. I am at the stadium in Minneapolis.
What's going on here today?
Well, we're having a rally against racist names for football teams.
So do you think there could be some change?
Yes, I think there could be some changes. A lot of changes.
And how do you feel about being at this march?
Feeling pretty good.
Like halfway good, semi-good, or really good?
Really good.
Okay, thank you very much. Miigwech.
You got press credentials?
Frank Perro, head of security for American Indian Movement, Grand Governing Council, and member of National Coalition Against Racism in Sports and Media.
And where are you from?
Grand Portage, Minnesota.
Excellent. Well, this is for northern Minnesota, getting the northern Minnesota perspective on this whole issue. First of all, what do you think about the rally? How's it going so far in terms of security?
In this area right here is 4,000 people. We are overflowing on both sides and in the back, so it's over 4,000 people. 4,000 proud people. This is the largest gathering against this racist name of the Washington football team ever. I'd like to thank the University of Minnesota Police, the Minneapolis Police, the university officials. They're doing a very good job. They work very well with us. Right now we have the other faction, the unsanctioned chapter American Indian Movement Twin Cities coming in now.
All right, that's that other group coming in over
that's
there?
That's that other group. They're protesting the same thing, but they're not with the National Coalition.
What message do you have for the people of northern Minnesota about what they can do?
First off, you can stop buying Washington football team paraphernalia because it's wrong. And what you can do is you can educate your young children and fellow adults about how racist and mean that name is. We're not Redskins. We're Anishinaabe. We're Lakota. We're Hopi. We're Navajo. It's well past time for the change the name.
One word, how do you feel personally about this event today?
Grateful, happy, marvelous. Take all those great, nice one-word statements and put them together. This is marvelous. This is unbelievable.
My name is Sean Carr. I live in Duluth, Minnesota. I'm holding an American flag that's got the native on it. I stenciled it with INM, NWA, meaning Idle No More, Northwoods Wolf Alliance, and I also cut a stencil with hand holding a feather.
How did your march go?
It went well.
How many people?
I was at the front, I couldn't tell you. It looked like a lot, though, when we were taking the corners.
Our next speaker scarcely needs an introduction. Congresswoman Betty McCollum represents Minnesota's 4th District and holds leadership positions in the U.S. House. Please give a warm welcome to our shining champion in Congress, U.S. Representative Betty McCollum.
Good morning. Today we are gathered in a spirit of peace and solidarity. And this is a spirit I'm so proud to be able to join you with. My Native brothers and sisters from tribal nations all across Minnesota and the United States. Great turnout, everyone.
Representative on the Bois Forte Tribal Council, Brandon Benner.
Good morning, it's good to see you all here. I'd like to take a moment and ask that all tribal members please take the time to acknowledge and pay respect to our non-Native American brothers and sisters that are here with us. Nothing brings us more honor than to have you standing beside us. I represent the Bois Forte Band of Chippewa in northern Minnesota, where we are taught to respect and honor all people. All people. Two of the things we live by is respect and honor. And there is respect and honor in being a Red Lake Ogichida, a Fond du Lac Ogichida, a Deer River warrior, an Ore brave. But there is no respect or honor in being called a redskin. I thank you all for being here with us today, and Mino Gijigut. I hope you have a good day.
Where are you from?
I'm from the University of Minnesota, or I'm from here, like the suburbs. Yeah, I'm a student.
What's your name?
Elsa Erickson.
How old are you, Elsa?
I'm 20.
What are you holding up?
So my sign says "Fund Education, Not Racism," and I wrote this because the U gets $300,000 for hosting the Vikings at TCF, and they put that money back into the athletic department. They don't put it towards any American Indian scholarships or back into the education department, and that's just unacceptable. Well, I'm a little bit farther back. We can't really hear any of the people, but this is the biggest protest so far that they've had, and it's really great turnout.
So why are you participating in this protest?
Well, I'm part of a student group called Students for Democratic Society, and we're here as a group supporting it, basically just against the racism. It's the SDS. It's a new one that reformed in the early 2000s, yeah.
What's the general vibe here?
I think the crowd's energized. I think everybody's very positive.
Do you think it's a chance for a change?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, this is the biggest protest we've had so far.
issue. Please welcome the Mayor of Minneapolis, the Honorable Betsy Hodges.
Well, hello and welcome to Minneapolis. I look out here and I have a message for the Washington team. The clock is ticking on your name. Might as well change it now and get yourselves into the 21st century. It's probably lonely back in the 19th century. And we know what you know, that it's more than an insult. It's hate. It's hate. And when you are hating on the indigenous peoples of Minneapolis and Minnesota and the United States of America, you are hating on every one of us in Minneapolis and in Minnesota and in the United States of America. And we know that this name has got to be changed. Change the name! Change the name! Change the name! Change the name! We're gonna get this done, y'all! We're gonna get it done! Change the name! Change the name!
My name is Larry Long, and I'm a folk singer.
Where are we right now?
Where we are right now, we're at TCF Stadium, and the Washington team is playing the Minnesota Vikings, and First Nation people and all their allies have come together to put an end to racial slurs that demean and dishonor not only the original people of what we call North America, but all people. All hate speech must end. And when hate speech like the Redskins, the name Redskins means bushel, baskets, bounties full of native scalps. Redskins are scalps, bounties paid. It's slanderous. It's like lynching of blacks in the South in the pre-civil rights era. The word Redskins is the N-word. It must not be used. And it's even more disgusting because it's being used for profit. It's not just about racial slurs, it's about bare-bone economics and profiteering off of dishonoring honorable people.
You've been to a lot of rallies, you've been to a lot of community action stuff. How would you describe this turnout, what's happening right now?
This is extraordinary. I haven't seen anything really quite like this in decades. And in some ways, it's really unique because it's a cross-section of the First Nation community, from the Ho-Chunks to the Anishinaabe to the Dakota, Lakota people coming in from Oklahoma, from all over. So it's a very broad, wide span of First Nation people that have come together around this banner to put an end to words like Redskins and slurs being used to demean their people.
So do you think there is actual genuine momentum for a change?
It's huge. It's inevitable that Washington is going to change their name. It's inevitable. And it's just not a First Nation issue. It's an issue of all people. And specifically, it's about the children. It comes down to the children. When they go to a football game and they hear football fans scream, "Kill those Redskins," that moves into the psyche of children. And they hear that in their brain for the rest of their life. And they look at their skin and they go, "Are they talking about me?" That's what this is about. This is about our children, that we do not want any of our children to be raised in a hateful society.
What was your participation here? What did you do at this rally?
Well, I wrote a song that's become a bit of an anthem, and it's, for the movement in a sense. But I wrote the words while actually sitting around the table with the organizers of this movement. And some of the words go, "What if we called you the Jews, Muslims, Christians, or Hindus, Redskins? I don't see no native people on your team. First you killed us with smallpox, now you wave that tomahawk, Redskins. I don't see no native people on your team. And we have problems to solve. We have problems to resolve. What if we were to replace your name with pale-face Redskins? I don't see no native people on your team. Bushel baskets, bounties full of native scalps, wagon loads of Redskins. I don't see no native people on your team, and we have problems to solve. We have problems to resolve. evolve. So take that feather from your hair. Washington, beware Redskins. I don't see no native people on your team. Custer died for your sins. Oh my God, he's back again, Redskins. I don't see no native people on your team. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Little Red Sambo has to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Little Red Sambo has to go, Redskins.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Woo! Let's hear it, Indian country! Yeah! This is about the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. You guys look pretty dang good when you're mad. One man's ignorance brings us together. One man's ignorance brings many nations to come together to form one nation, to change one of the most derogatory and racist names in America. We're here to tell this guy I don't know much about. He must not hear very well, so we will speak loudly. And he must forget a lot, so we will remind him. And we will tell him that his racist mascot has to go. It has no place in Indian country. And Dan Snyder, all of America is Indian country. Let's change the mascot. Woo!
Please welcome Clyde Belcourt.
Oh, bonjour. Ni gone away with an indigenous cause, or Sishak Lodain, and Shinabe, or Gitchida. My brothers and sisters, relatives, my heart soars like an eagle today. My heart soars like an eagle today. For 45 solid years, we've been fighting this battle with racism, slurs, mascots that our children have to look at, have to watch every day of the week. And we made a commitment that we would never cease in this effort till all these mascots have to go. It's time for America to let it go. And this movement makes a solemn commitment to each and every one of you here today. Join us in that battle as we demand. We're going to demand, the same as the National Basketball Association forced Mr. Sterling of the Clippers for one little racist remark that he made to give up that team to sell it. We're going to demand that Daniel Snyder, who should know a little bit about genocide, he should find out about the genocide of the Indian people, where hundreds of tribes were totally erased from the face of the earth. Maybe he should study that. And I want to condemn him. I want to condemn him today for going out in South Dakota, picking some of the poorest tribes in this nation and rent buses to them so they could come down here and sit in the bleachers with him, and he can point them out and say that he's helping us. We're going to ask for his removal, ask that the mascot change, and ask that he let the team go. We're going to be demanding that, and we're not going to give up until it happens. I want to thank every one of you.
My name's Winona LeDuc. I'm White Earth Anishinaabe. I'm here at a place I never go to, a football game. I don't even like football. Just to be honest, but I came down here from fighting the Enbridge pipeline because I'm tired of them shoving down my throat a bunch of mascot names and telling me I like it.
Tell us about the mood here. What's going on right now?
A lot of the mistakes that are made is that people who offend Indians should not come to Minneapolis. There's a whole bunch of Native people here. We are not going to be treated as second-class citizens or third-class citizens. It's over, you know? And then there are a lot of people here that know that people treated with dignity and living with dignity and recognized as such, but that is the way to be. And that's a lot of people in Minnesota. So I'm here with my fellow tribal people and everybody else who knows that racism is not good in sports.
Okay, now if you had a message for the people of northern Minnesota, what would it be on how they could get involved in getting this change to actually happen?
I think that, everybody needs to keep on these national sports teams and all the state and the smaller teams to quit it. It is time to change the S words that is going on up north, you know. It is time for North Dakota to quit trying to get counseling over their fighting Sioux. They need to let that stuff go. And it's time to rename this team, you know. I think they should be called the Washington Drones. We're going to change these names. And the way that names are changed is that people stand up and say, that's it. The way change happens is because people stand up and say, that's enough, and change is going to happen. That's the only way change happens.
And do you feel from the mood here and the number of people?
Change is going to happen.
You got a time frame?
I'm not good on those things, but you know, it's going to happen soon, and it's the beginning. And the other thing that's going to change is, Minneapolis just went to Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah. So two things are happening. You know, one thing is these names are getting dropped, and the second thing is that evolved cities like Brainerd in the north, Grand Rapids, they need to have it be Indigenous Peoples Day.
Winona, Miigwech.
Columbus Day. And I want Columbus' ancestors to understand he didn't discover America, that punk got lost. I did more to discover America than he did. But look how stupid it is. Columbus discovered America. How can you discover a country that's already occupied?
That's right.
Can I go to the parking lot today and discover your car with you in it? And so they've been living in this lie for so long, but it's about to come to an end. Snyder, if you want to be with the real Native man, you should be here.
That's right. That's right.
Those of you that's out here will change that name. And don't got nothing to do with his power and his money. It's not about that. This white boy have no power. The power comes from out there. My name is changed. It's not boy, it's Mr. Gregory.
That's right.
Mr. Gregory. And so we went from boy to Mr. President. I love you. God bless you. Peace be with you.
Governor Jesse Ventura. I was governor from 1999 to 2003, over a decade ago.
And where are you right now?
I'm at the TCF Bank Stadium, University of Minnesota, prior to the Washington Viking football game.
Now, you just got done addressing the crowd. What do you think of the crowd, first of all?
I think it's wonderful on two fronts. Number one, it's protesting a nickname about genocide which needs to be changed. And number two, it's also exercising First Amendment to the Constitution rights, which in today's day and age seems to be pretty far in between. They're destroying our Constitution and they're destroying our Bill of Rights, and this is the First Amendment exercise of those Bill of Rights, and that's important also.
You're the governor of Minnesota. I'm doing this for northern Minnesota. What's a message that you have for the people in northern Minnesota?
The message I have is we're all Minnesota. There's not a northern or southern or central or anything. We're all Minnesotans. So don't define northern Minnesota from southern Minnesota. It's all one state.
Okay, for those Minnesotans that happen to live up north, which is where this radio show is going to go to, what message do you have for them? Because they couldn't make it down here. Some of them don't have the bucks to get all the way down to the Twin Cities.
Well, the message is be active, be vigilant. The key to being a citizen is vigilance. Do your job. That means vote. Get out and vote. We're pathetic in the numbers, and yet we lead the nation in voting, Minnesota. But it's still pathetic. We should have a 90% voter turnout, and we don't. that's people's responsibility, whether you're in northern Minnesota or anywhere in Minnesota. Get out and vote.
Okay, last question, Governor. If you had the magic wand, you could change their name right here, right now. What would you change it to?
I would change it to the Criminals, because I was going to say that on the mic, because that's where all our senators and congressmen are, and they're pretty much criminals. Then they could wear striped jerseys, and it would fit real well. The Washington Criminals.
Governor, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
And there will be no surrender, perpetual defenders. He's got something sacred going on. From the land of the spirits, to know it, you must live it.
Mitch walking out. Big Witch.
Hello, my name is Nina Berglund. I'm 15 years old. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm an enrolled member of the Northern Cheyenne tribe in Lame Deer, Montana. My sign says racial slurs are not honor. We're not your mascot.
Well, who do you see pass by on the sidewalk?
We see normal people and we see fans of Redskins gear, and we tell them about what Redskins are and how it's wrong. I feel that it's wrong and racist and that it should be changed immediately. Dan Schneider pledged to not change the name, but hopefully he sees otherwise due to the crowd.
So how do you feel personally about being here, participating in this protest right here, right now?
I love it. I'm fighting for my people, what I believe in. I feel that it's right, and that if this is what has to be done, then it'll be done.
If you could change the name of the NFL Washington team, what name would you change it to?
Anything other than the Redskins, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Washington.
The Washington Washingtons?
Yeah.
It is a great day, and it's a great day to see you here. I want to say to the African Americans in the audience and the African Americans who will see this on TV or the radio, we are 90-some% of who plays in the NFL. And that 90-some% needs to wake up on this issue. They need to wake up and not let that money blind them from the reality of the true landlord of this land is speaking up on behalf of his humanity, his human decency, his dignity, and you need to stand side by side with him. The fact remains that long before the Underground Railroad was moving around, blacks who ran away ran to Indian villages, Indian nations, Indian tribes. When I think back of what we've been through, we got that first bread and that first water and that first corn and that first fish from Native Americans, that buffalo meat, that venison. We got it from Native Americans. We survived. We're here now because of that, and nobody brings it up. I'm bringing it up. My grandfather's father was Charlie Bailey. He's 100% Indian, and I ain't never been ashamed of it. That's the first thing I shared with Clyde. I'm standing between two men that I know for sure we fought for more than 40 years over you and over African Americans. If God bless me with the health and 40 more, I'm gonna line up with him 40 more years. Brother Tyrone gonna do the same, 40 more. You young people learn what's important when people insult you. When somebody can have a team in there and forget he's playing on the landlord's land and he's gonna be disrespectful. You learn so you line up. You learn so you stand up. You learn so you back your organization to the day we can say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. If Martin Luther King was standing here, he would say, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And if it happens to you, it happens to me. So this is our day. And we're saying change that name, and we're saying much more about all racism in sports. And we're saying stand strong, because when people take your humanity, then who are you? And what is left of a great history, a great culture, great leaders, great heroes, great chiefs, great medicine men. And you know you can still feel that drum in your heart every time you hear that beat. Change that name. Change that name. Change that name.
Change that name. Change that name. Change that
My name is Tara Hauska. I'm from International Falls, Minnesota, and today I call Washington, D.C. home, where I'm an attorney for tribal rights. I'm from Couchiching First Nation.
So tell us, what did you just get done doing?
I just spoke to a crowd of supporters that are here to change the name of the Washington football team. I think this event turned out amazing. I mean, it was a lot of planning and a lot of organizing, but look at all the people that are here and they're supporting, and we're all standing here together. I mean, I have a 5-minute walk to work every day. Just a few weeks ago, I walked down the street, heard it on the radio, saw it on the side of a billboard, saw it on someone's hat, saw it on someone's shirt, and this is in 5 minutes. That's how it feels when you're living in D.C. as a Native American. And you have to see that, and you have to listen to people that are telling you it's not a racial slur, it's to honor you. I don't care what you think. If you actually do tell them, it's dehumanizing. It's incredibly dehumanizing. The lawyering side of what I do is entirely representing tribes throughout the United States on various issues. I do IHS stuff, I do gaming, I do any type of environmental law, all of it.
What would you say to the people of northern Minnesota about what they could do to help change this issue?
I'd say the people of northern Minnesota, and any people actually, that aren't here today, if they understand and they tell others, it's about education and explaining to people that these mascots are wrong. If you want to join notyourmascots.org, that's my organization, and we're on the front lines out here fighting this and going around the country to do these events. I leave that actually up to the team. I don't really think that's on me to change the name, but if they do change it, I want it to not be another Native American, because Native Americans are not mascots.
What message do you have for young people?
I came from International Falls from very humble beginnings, and I'd say, believe in yourself. Really believe in yourself. I know you hear that, but really try and focus on what you're good at, and focus on school if you can. And if you're not good at school, focus on your talents that you're good at. And, don't let other people get you down, because, it's not about other people. At the end of the day, you have to live with yourself, and you can do it. You actually can do it. You can get through school. You can get through, be a musician, be an artist, do whatever you want to do, but just stick with it.
By the time the rally started to wind down, the Vikings game was well underway. If you walk around the outside of the TCF Bank Stadium, there are speakers that play the Vikings radio announcers describing the play-by-play of the game that is going on right at that moment. However, on this particular Sunday, November 2nd, 2014, as the announcers talked about the Washington team, whose name so many people find so insulting. Not far away, a drum group performed its final song.